Okay, hello. Um, what's up? How you doing? It's been a while. It's been a while since I've streamed. I think the last time was January. I hope everybody's doing okay. I'm doing okay. Um, I just wanted to I don't know, I felt like streaming again. It's probably isn't going to be a very long one. I just kind of wanted to talk for a bit, check in, see how things are going. Um, and maybe just hang out. Or I mean, like I said, I'm not gonna stick around for too long. I guess there were a couple things I wanted to talk about. But before I talk about those things, just a a little life update, I guess. Uh, I'm doing pretty good right now. I feel like I'm staying pretty busy. I'm being very productive right now. I'm working on a lot of stuff, a lot of film stuff at the moment. Kind of going crazy as ever right now, but that's it's pretty good. I feel like there's a lot to look forward to down the pipeline. So I'm really excited about that. Um, Other than that, just chilling, doing my thing, working on projects and then just working at the cafe. Um, Not much is really different. So I feel like I'm being a lot healthier. I've been going to the gym a lot more. That's pretty good. Going to the gym a bit more, eating a bit healthier, trying to be my best self. um, but yeah, I guess there were a couple things I wanted to talk about today. I guess kind of one big thing in general, and then I guess that there were a couple small things that come from that. And I guess I lately on YouTube uh I guess for a while I've been seeing a lot of like content. People call it like red pill content or whatever. And it's like advice for young men, usually surrounding dating and stuff like that. But a lot of it just you know circles around life and stuff like that. And I'm gonna be honest, I don't really care for a whole lot of it. Um, I don't think it really maps on well to real life and real people too well. And at least not from my experiences. And I think I'm a pretty grounded person. I don't think I'm too crazy or anything. So, I don't know. I just kind of wanted to get on and I wanted to talk about life a little bit. I feel like maybe that's something positive I can do. I think maybe I've got something to add to the conversation that isn't the same as everybody else. And one thing I wanted to talk about particularly is essentially the idea of leading a fulfilling life as a young person, specifically in my case, a young man in my 20s. I'm 24, and I'm not the most well-adjusted person on the planet. Maybe not even the most well-adjusted person in their 20s, but I think that I'm doing okay. I'm doing okay for somebody in my position. There's a lot of people who, uh, just from what I can tell, what I can gather from what I study around me, that are essentially looking for meaning in their lives and looking uh, for a sense of fulfillment, I guess. And I understand that it can be hard to find, and I feel like, well, I'm not always happy, and sometimes I can even be depressed, and and I go through my phases, and there's sometimes I get to really dark places. Um, I think I'm still able to, at the end of the day, make some sort of meaning out of my life, and I think that's a really positive and strong trait that I have. And I think maybe if I talk about it a little bit, it might or might not help some other people. I don't know. the best I can do is try, right? So, um, I guess I don't want to frame this like I'm giving advice, because honestly, who am I to give advice? I guess I more want to frame this as sharing my experiences, and I don't know, just talking about it a bit. But if you want to take it as advice, maybe I'll frame it as advice. The more I talk, the more you're going to be like, well, it sounds like this guy's giving advice. So I don't know, maybe I am. But um, yeah, I should have outlined this really. I thought about doing it. I was like, man, just get on camera, start talking, it'll come. So, and I guess that's the route I decided to take. So, really, it's my fault if this is a mess. Um, so I guess where I start as far as giving my life meaning, this is the core thing I always return to. Whenever I'm at my lowest point, when I got out of my relationship last year, and I'm living alone now, but I used to live with my partner. At the lowest points, during that, or during any other low point, when I feel really lonely or when I feel pretty aimless, I return to one thing, and that's my passion. And obviously, not everybody's going to share my passion. Everybody has their own passions. Mine is film. I have an extremely singular passion, and I understand that I'm a huge outlier, and that I've understood that my passion for film, or that my passion is film, since I was around 15 years old. It's been my one pursuit since I was pretty much that age, and I've spent my whole life working towards that goal, working on films, making my own films, acting in films, doing whatever I can to progress my career in that area. Now, I'm a server right now at a breakfast place, so that'll tell you how far I am into my film career at this point. But even now, I feel like I've done a lot. I feel like I've essentially done what I can, and I'm still working at it every day. Um, but to kind of return to my main point surrounding this, I think talking about what gives my life uh, a sense of fulfillment, and a sense of me getting up every day and knowing exactly what I'm doing, is having a passion that I can follow. And people develop passions in all kinds of ways. I understand that for a lot of people, it's really hard to find that thing that you're passionate about. Maybe you try a lot of different stuff, and maybe nothing really sticks or works out or whatever. And obviously, if there is one thing that you can think of, that's great. I would, maybe recommend taking some time to yourself, thinking about what's important to you. You know, maybe for me, obviously, it's making the art that I want to make, making the films that I would like to make. But maybe to you, it's finding love. It's finding a partner, finding somebody like that. And so, for you, maybe it would you would spend your life pursuing that passion. If you're trying to find love, maybe working on yourself a bit, which you should be doing regardless. Yeah, that's another thing I think working on your own fulfillment would be. Working on your appearance, working on how you talk to people, how you engage with the world. That's always something worth working on. Or maybe your passion isn't trying to find romance. Maybe you just want to find meaning out of life, which I think your passion gives it meaning. But something like, I think that the church, or any form of religion or church, that can lead to that. If you get really involved with helping people, get into volunteer work, maybe that can be a passion. Or I know a lot of people like going to the gym. I like going to the gym. I find it really fulfilling. And it is very satisfying watching your body be morphed into what you want it to be when you take care of yourself. It's really nice. It's really healthy. Um, I'm really regretting not outlining this. Um, but yeah, I essentially what I'm trying to say here is finding a passion or something to pursue um, really, really goes a long way in finding fulfillment in your life. And that's the main thing that I return to most of the time. And if I had a friend or anybody coming to me asking me, essentially how do I make sense of all of this? How do I feel like what I'm doing is important, at the very least to myself? Um, I would always just return to that one thing of like finding that thing that you enjoy, the thing that you want out of life. I think everybody wants different things, and pursuing that, um, and finding a healthy way of pursuing it. Obviously, try not to hurt anybody, including yourself, during that pursuit. I think some pursuits get a little too intense, but something that you can chip away at every day, that's a good thing to have. Um, a reason to get out of bed in the morning is kind of step one to having a fulfilling life. Another thing I think I realized over the years is engaging in socialization, both on a friendship level but also on a community level. I think that has really, really helped me. I've never been the most social guy. I don't like going to parties. Um, I don't even really like group hangouts that much. Um, I've always been a little more closed off, especially more so than my friends. But I've gotten a bit better about it over the years, and I find that like while socialization does take a lot out of me, I tend to be more drained by it than I am like recharged by socialization. At the end of the day, I do love just being alone. um, I think it's a very nice thing to engage in. Having friends that you can share your feelings with, talk with, joke with, and just spend time with. That's a really important thing. I've got buddies that I get drinks with occasionally, and we go out to bars, and we get drinks and play pinball. That's our thing. And then I'm a server, so obviously I see a lot of people every day that I talk to, and a lot of regulars at my cafe that I engage with and talk to. And with some of those regulars, I develop pretty deep bonds with them, deep relationships. They're my friends, and so we have very deep talks about life and about just our experiences in general. And even beyond my workplace, I go to other people's workplaces quite a bit. Um, I think having a steady routine, places that you frequent, that really helps. So something that helps with my socialization is I've got like a couple cafes I go to. I've got coffee shops I go to. And I've become such a regular at a lot of these places that the baristas or the servers or whoever works there, they start to recognize me. And then kind of through me like frequenting these places, we've developed our own bond, and I've become a regular at their place, and we talk about life and we talk about whatever. Um, and through there, I've met plenty of friends through that, even just through talking. um, and you can even go back to the what I was saying before about the church that works, or there's meetup groups for different things. If you want to try something new, there's an app called Meetup, and they have like groups of people that meet up and do different things. It'll just be random stuff. There's like gaming groups, there's crocheting, there's book clubs, all kinds of stuff. You can always get out there and meet people and talk to people. And I think having that kind of social those social interactions, I think give a lot more meaning to life, and fulfillment than people often understand, you know? Um, when I hear a lot of like advice being given online, most of it centers around the romantic aspect of relationships, and that is very important, and that's its own subject. I'm gonna try and not touch on that when talking about this too much because that's just its own can of worms, and I would rather just talk about self fulfillment right now rather than which you should work on before you enter into a relationship, anyways. So, um, and it's something I'm trying to work on too before I enter into my next big relationship. Um, anyways, yeah, I think talking to people, and if you have a hard time talking to people, I understand that. I've gotten a lot better about it as I've grown up, um, especially over the past couple years. I've gotten a lot better about talking to people through experiences with obviously serving makes me a lot more comfortable with that. Before I started serving, I was extremely awkward, and sometimes I still can be, but I've definitely gotten a lot better about it. And then also through filmmaking. Um, that is a very collaborative art, and I am a director, which means I manage my film sets. Basically, I'm in charge of a lot of people, and so there's a lot of communication, um, and just yeah, all kinds of stuff that happens on those sets that you just need to manage, and you need to talk to people for. So you get a little bit better at communication. The other thing I think that has helped me along the way is being in my first serious relationship. But that's by no means super necessary to becoming a good communicator. I think you can do it outside of the confines of a relationship. Um, but yeah, and so as far as like making friends, I think it's I think the key to having a fulfilling life, uh, having friends is definitely somewhere with it, in there. Unless you're like a very specific kind of person who just does not need social interaction. But I find that hard to believe. Humans are naturally social creatures, so um, I think I don't know. I think most people probably need that social interaction, and I think a lot of people have a hard time making friends, new friends right now. I think I don't know, maybe this is a little too conspiracy, whatever. I think the internet is causing people to have a lot of problems socializing out in the real world. That's why I think that engaging with your community, going to places, and just talking to people. You know what's awesome that people shit on all the time is small talk. Small talk is so good because small talk leads to big talk. And small talk can go anywhere you want. I think what people need to realize, especially about communicating with strangers, is that you shouldn't go into every talk, every conversation, every interaction with an end goal. I think a lot of people should just be okay with having little conversations that lead nowhere. And then sometimes they'll lead somewhere. You know, every time you talk to somebody, you don't need to make a new friend out of it, but maybe it can be an engaging conversation while you have it. Same thing with, again, going back to that romantic thing. If you are talking to somebody that you're interested in, it doesn't always need to end with you asking them out. It could just be a cool conversation. Um, and so I think what helps with um, interacting with people, social interaction, is being a curious person. And what I mean by that, this has really helped me. Actually, what really helped me with talking to people was there's a podcast I used to listen to a lot. I haven't listened to it in quite a while, but it's the WTF podcast with Mark Maron. I just he interviews celebrities and stuff on there, and I find Mark Maron to be just a really likable personality. I like him as a comedian. I think I prefer him as an interviewer or just like a personality that I listen to. Um, but yeah, I really like Mark Maron, and I like the way he like asks questions and gets people engaged in conversation. I think that really taught me a lot about how to engage with people. But I think, yeah, like what I mean by being a curious person is just asking a lot of questions and being genuinely engaged with the person's answer. Be interested in what they have to say. If you start with something as simple as, nice weather today, which, is like a line a lot of people shit on, that can lead somewhere. You're talking about the day. What is that person gonna what are your plans for today? Are you going to enjoy the nice weather outside? Are you going to work? Are you coming home from work? What are you doing? And then they answer, oh, I'm going to my sister's house. I'm gonna help her move, or me and my friends are going bowling later. There's more questions to be asked from there. Could be curious about somebody's life, right? Well, where's your sister moving? Or, oh, that's cool. Why, how do you know these friends? That you're going bowling with, um, and that can always lead to, a deeper conversation down the road. But I think people, I think in general, like being asked questions. People like people like other people being interested in their life, I think. And so generally they'll respond well to just being asked questions about their life. They'll want to engage on that front. And so while you're asking questions, and this is something I think Mark Maron did really well, while you're asking questions, you can also volunteer information. And by volunteering information, especially, try not to, don't get like super personal off the bat, but as you're kind of giving information about yourself, this will make somebody, I think, want to open up to you a bit more too. This is something else I found is like through asking questions, and as you're asking questions, talking within that related topic about yourself a bit, I think will make people like open up to you more. So like, for example, if you're, talking about the weather and you're like, oh yeah, I mean, what were you up to today? You're like talking about it's a sunny day or whatever. Oh, the really nice weather today. Oh, that's cool. Did you have any like plans? And then that person goes, I was gonna go like fishing. And then you're like, oh, that's awesome. Yeah, I've actually never, I've been fishing a couple times. I've never actually caught anything. And then the other person will go, oh, well, you see, the trick to catching something is, and then they'll like go off on this whole rant about fishing, and they'll probably have something interesting, educational to say about it. I don't know. But you can volunteer that kind of, information about yourself, and then they'll want to engage with you on that level. And then, before you know it, you're in a conversation. Sometimes it'll end and nothing will come of it, but sometimes it'll end and you'll want to have another conversation, and maybe you'll see that person again. So like if you're well, in my case I'm a server, but let's say like I'm at one of the places I frequent. I'm at, one of the coffee shops. Well, that you can make that a place you go to now. You can come back the next day, and that maybe it'll be the same employee there, maybe it'll be a different person, but either way, you can strike up a new conversation. And if you keep showing up, they'll get to know your face, and hopefully they'll know you as a friendly face that they like to talk to. And then, through there, you can always, yeah, you can make new friends through there, or friends through other friends, mutual friends. They can also become your friends. Most of my closest friends that I know, I've met through somebody else. Like I became friends with one person first. They introduced me to somebody else. And then just over time, that one friend became one of my best friends in the world. And now it's like weird to even think that I met them through somebody else. I don't know. Just being open to interacting with people on that level, being introduced to new people. That's, and I think, I don't know. I'm sorry if this sounds super obvious to everybody. I guess I just hear a lot of people talking about struggling with making friends, and I understand that. As I feel like I was once somebody who struggled with making friends. I don't actually think I'm really that person anymore. I think I can make friends pretty easily now. But I guess I just wanted to talk about that a bit. Um, so if I had to organize my thoughts real quick, the leading a fulfilling life in your 20s is having a passion that you can pursue of some sort, something that gets you out of bed in the every morning. And then having friends, I think, is in social interactions, people that you just enjoy talking to. That that also makes life worth living. Um, I'm trying. I really should have organized my thoughts beforehand, but I think if I had to think about my own life, those are the two things. Those are the two main things that I really enjoy. Um, Something I struggle with is money. It makes sense. I'm a server who's a filmmaker. I live in this house. I sometimes struggle to make ends meet. That's okay. We're all trying. Um, and my best thing with that is just working sucks. We all have to do it. That's part of life. But um, I think trying to find trying to find something to make the best of your situation, right? And so I guess what I mean by that is I've worked in the food industry since I was 14. Um, and I don't really like the food industry that much, but it's what I'm used to. Um, and so I've worked at so many places, and I've been at the cafe that I work at now for a little over 2 years, and I really like it there. This is a job that I found that I don't mind working. I could see myself working here for another 5 years, if need be. Obviously, I don't want to be here forever. I'm hoping that film takes off at some point, that I can um, rely on something within film to make me money, and so I can support myself off of my passion. But I have found something that I am okay with doing, at the very least for a little while. Um, and so, but for me to find this place, I worked at plenty of places that I hated and that I ended up quitting, um, just to find something else, to find something that really sat well with me. And so, through years of just working different jobs, some better than others, I was able to land at a place that um, I'm pretty content with. And so I think that's an important lesson for a lot of people, is like, obviously there's some give and take with life over, what you settle for and what you don't, but you don't have to be miserable. I think anybody who tells you that you have to be miserable is wrong. You can definitely exist in your 20s, um, and in life in general, without being miserable. Um, you can find a job that you are content with. You don't need to love it. You don't need to want to do it forever and ever, but you can find something that you enjoy for the, that you're okay with. Um, and just work at that, and then you can work on whatever else. You don't need to derive all of your pleasure from your job. You can derive pleasure from your pursuit of your passion, your friends, your romantic life, your family. That's another big one. Understand not everybody has a family that they can fall back on, or go to if things get tough with their friends or with their job or whatever. But if you do have a positive relationship with at least one family member, that's another person you've got in your corner. That's another person you can talk to. Um, yeah, and so that's those small things that it kind of all bring it together. It makes life worth living. Um, Another big thing I hear about is anxiety with the world, the state of the world today. This is something I've dealt with a lot. I think this is a big thing for a lot of people, especially in their 20s. Um, and I guess what I can tell you is the world's always scary. You can look at any time in history, the world is a frightening place. Um, there's always stuff going on, just everywhere stuff. stuff going on. Things aren't fair. There's violence. There's all kinds of crimes and mistreatment, and there's truly horrible things that happen in this world, and that's it's part of life. We'll never really be able to get rid of that. Um, there are things that we can do to help ourselves and help others. It's definitely not on you to help everybody. It's not on me to help everybody, but we can all do our part. Um, and whatever energy you give to helping the world, helping everybody, that's what you have to give. You don't you don't need to give anything else. Take care of yourself first and foremost. If you have somebody depending on you, like a child or whatever, take care of them. Um, you owe it to yourself first. You don't need to have this savior complex. The weight of the world doesn't have to rest on your shoulders. You're just a person. Um, that's something it took me a long time to accept and to really settle in. I think that's a big part of growing up is just understanding that you're a very very tiny part of of a much larger system, something that is incomprehensible to a single human mind. I think people that try and boil down the world's problems to extremely simple solutions and simple problems, simple solutions. I think they're kind of missing the point. Um, I used to be somebody who I think I boiled things down to extremely simple um, solutions and issues and stuff like that. And I think as I've grown over the past couple of years, I think I've come to a more full understanding of the world. But obviously, I still have a lot of growing to do. I'm only 24, so um, there's still so much I don't understand. But what's really cool is I've accepted that. I've become a little bit less, no, a lot less combative. I used to try and argue with everybody. I used to feel like I had the whole thing figured out, and I would fight with my parents. I would fight with other people, and I would argue and argue, and I think it's taken some self reflection and a lot of growth to realize that I don't have to do that. I don't. I don't have to. Um, and I shouldn't because I'm not in a place to. None of us are really. um, I mean, obviously, fight for the things that you believe, right? But it's okay to understand. It's okay to admit that you don't understand everything. And if something comes up that you don't really know, um, you don't have to talk about it. Um, you don't have to be the biggest person doing something. Um, yeah, I don't know. I think I just think that's a big part of it. Is there's so much anxiety with the current state of things, um, and I think I don't know. I think there are many times throughout history that'll show that while the time we are living in is unique, I guess the most unique thing about it is probably the invention of the internet and smartphones and how we all have access to all of this information. That's unique, but the part that isn't unique is anxiety, fear, um, addiction, um, all of these problems that we have in our society. They're not new. Um, they're coming at us in new ways, but humans have been able to exist this long. We've been able to figure out a lot of ways around things, um, and we'll keep doing that. So, um, and you'll be a part of it. We'll all be part of it. That's just kind of the way the world goes. You don't need to obviously concern yourself with what you're passionate about. Try and help people where you can, but you don't need to carry the weight of the world on your shoulders. It's okay. Um, yeah. um, I'm trying to think of what else I can talk about here as far as like self-fulfillment. I think maybe I'll take a break for now. Um, and maybe I'll be back later, maybe with some more thorough thoughts. Maybe I'll take some notes and I can speak off those. It's also kind of late here, so I'm a little tired. Maybe I started this a little too late. I don't know why I got this like huge. I just got this huge desire to just jump on stream and start talking about all this stuff. But I think I think my exhaustion is hitting. Um, I always decide to do these so late, and I regret it. I don't regret it. I think it's nice that I got on here, at least to talk. If it's nonsensical, that's okay. I can fuck up. And you can too. Um, I don't know if I'll make this into a video. If I do though, I hope that you're able to find fulfillment while being in your 20s. It's a scary world out there, but we're all trying our best. So, okay. I'll talk to you later.